Welcome back to Meet in the Lobby. This is the podcast where hospitality meets innovation.
I'm Dorien Murphy.
And I'm Melissa McCormack. Now, Dorien, I know we all have a lot on our plate right now. So, what's one thing that you're really looking forward to, whether it's personal, professional? Tell me what you're looking forward to.
So my daughter just got accepted into at Temple University, but she's not going to attend their campus in Philly. She's going to attend their campus in Kyoto in Japan.
Oh my gosh.
I am so excited to drop her off in Kyoto in August. And so I'll be taking a few weeks at that time. I have never been to Japan before. So I'm ready for some good eats and some good treats.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for you. That is incredible. Absolutely. And kudos to her. That's phenomenal. And what a change, willing to put herself out there and
it's definitely a big girl move for sure. It's definitely a big girl move, but I'm super proud of her. She definitely took the tutelage that her mom and I have put forth, and she's ready to take a jump. So selfishly, though, the vacation aspect of that is what I'm looking most forward to.
This is like the coolest college drop off I've heard of. You're going to be eating your way through Kyoto. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'm super excited. But, that's what's going on with me. What are you looking most forward to, Melissa?
That's a really good question. I feel like I have a lot to be thankful for, but I'm most looking forward to my fall trip or my autumn trip. I have traveled all over the world, but I've never been to Italy. And so I know. So for the first time this year, we're going to go spend a couple weeks in Italy, meet up with some friends there that live in Rome. So we've got some locals we'll be able to hang out with and get to experience the true Italy. Very, very much looking forward to that.
Isn't it the best when you have buddies at location? Then you don't have to really worry so much because you're in good hands.
True.
Good
so
stuff.
True.
Well, yeah. If you have extra space, just pack me in luggage. It'll need to be a big luggage, but pack me in one.
I'll make sure you fit. We have a good time. So
nice. Well, in our last episode, we talked about operational leadership, talent retention, and what it really takes for restaurants to stand out.
We sure did. And today we're going to continue the conversation, but we're going to shift the lens and we're going to talk about burnout. I think that's something that we all know a little bit about. We're also going to talk about leadership strategies and the strategies that are sustainable for the long term. And I think most importantly, what's the next era of hospitality leadership, right?
Ooh, yes. I'm ready for this one. And helping us break it all down is Christin Marvin, founder of Columbine Hospitality, two-time author, and fellow podcaster. Christin, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Yes, we're so excited to have you here. And I'm going to start by asking you the same question I asked Dorien. What are you looking forward to right now, either personally or professionally?
Hard to top what you two just said. Dorien, I want to meet your daughter so I can go to Japan because I haven't been able to visit there yet, but it's on the list. And Melissa, I went to Rome a couple of years ago and it's magical. If you need some restaurant recommendations, I'm happy to pass them along to you.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much.
Called it Gluten Fest 2024. It was amazing. So much good food.
Great.
What I'm most looking forward to is this next stage of business for us. I realized about 6 months ago, I was the bottleneck in my business and was doing a lot of things alone, had a very, very small team of kind of fractional people helping with a couple aspects. And I decided to bring on a partner and start forming a team. And so we've got a mighty team of 4 now as of a couple weeks ago. And we are building a team of coaches to help us roll out this framework that we've built to restaurants all over the world. And so we've got some incredible talent, people that are smarter than me, that are helping me elevate and grow, and people that have, opened 25 restaurants over their career. and have so many different skill sets to offer. And so it's incredible to be with a team of people again after working, alone for 3 years. So very excited about their ideas and how we're incorporating more AI into our business and how we can continue to offer an even better, extraordinary experience to our clients. That's what I'm looking forward to.
No, I love that. And it's always so important. Never be the smartest person in the room. Otherwise, you're not going to learn, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're in the wrong room.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, there is a lot more openness about burnout than ever before, but not always clarity. With from your perspective, what does day-to-day support look like in the hospitality industry when you're also trying to maintain strong performance?
It's about connection. It's about staying present for your people and checking in on them. I think one of the biggest tools that we help our clients implement in terms of leadership growth and development and being able to set themselves up for sustainable success and growth is one-on-ones with their team. Taking the time to have 15 or 30-minute conversations where they're checking in with people about how they're doing, both personally and professionally, to establish that connection and see them as the entire human and not just an employee in the space, but also being willing to ask really tough questions. That's what we do as coaches, is to say, what's frustrating you right now? What's the biggest challenge that you're facing right now? And as leaders, it's important for us to be able to be in a position where we can hear that feedback and not take it personally. And that just means, taking care of ourselves first and foremost and keeping ourselves somewhat balanced to be able to be present enough for our teams to know how to handle that feedback that comes in.
I do want to jump in really quickly here. I think what you said is universal in the industry. People just want to be seen, right? They want to be seen. They want to be appreciated. And that goes with your team, right? The team wants to feel seen and appreciated and heard. But it also is for the guests, right? And those dining. How do you get regulars? You know how people like to walk in, oh, I know the chef, I know the maitre d', right? And so everyone really just wants to be seen. So I'm really happy that you paired that with the burnout piece and the prevention there, because it's so important.
Well, and when you do that, when you create that open line of communication and build that trust, that gives your employees, and it creates an environment for them when they are having tough times, or they feel like they're overwhelmed or they're overworked or something is going on with them personally, they can come to you and say, hey, I just need to be very open and honest right now about what's going on. Once you start being honest about the challenges and the things that are going wrong in your business, personally or professionally, that's where forward progress and momentum start, right? But you've got to create that. It's our job to create that environment as leaders for our teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the outlet, right? I mean, much of the hospitality industry is aesthetic labor, right? You have to look the part, you're on stage, you have to speak a certain way, you have to deliver a certain way, and you really just need that outlet. And sometimes with the right leader, you could really help your team work through some things. And then another thing that you mentioned was about personally and professionally. And I think the old school way of thinking about, labor in the industry is you check your outside self at the door and you come in because you have a job to do. And in many respects that is true. But, if someone's, going through something in their life at home, it's really difficult to leave, the Dorien, personal Dorien at the door before he walks into the Avendra office. Like, I'm coming in personal Dorien and professional Dorien, and each informs how you behave on the other side of it. So I think that you're absolutely right that, personally and professionally, having those conversations, especially considering 40 hours is a lot of hours in a week to spend with a particular group of people, right? And I'm not saying that they are family, but they become like family. So it's important to have those lines kind of open.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point. I wanted to not step over here, but I was brought up in the industry of the same mentality: leave your stuff at the door and come in and be professional and always be on point. Don't let them see you sweat. I had a lot of people tell me I've got really thick skin, and I took a lot of pride in that when I was very younger. Unfortunately, what that turned into for me as I became a leader was somebody who was not vulnerable with my team and who kept all the challenges close to my chest. So it impacted the trust with my teams because they were always like, why are you so positive all the time? Why aren't you ever telling us about what's going on? Like, what are you hiding? And so that leave your stuff at the door is actually a really bad thing, culturally, and from a leadership perspective. It's a very dangerous game to play.
That hit because I have people say, Melissa, how are you positive all the time? When the reality is we know that we're working on things behind the scenes. So that was really insightful. Thank you.
So, I mean, I think that's one way that burnout, is more of a systems issue than a personal one. You spoke about leaders maybe not really being open and maybe forthcoming, or at least that perception of that to those that they're managing. What other leadership behaviors do you think tend to ultimately create burnout in our industry?
Not paying attention to workload. And not reading, there's the verbal communication aspect of it that's so important, but the nonverbal communication is equally as important, if not more. Pay attention. I think the best leaders truly understand, am I working my team too much? Are they working too many shifts? Does it make sense to schedule them 5 days a week straight, or do we need to break up those schedules? What is the demand that we're asking for them, and does it make sense for their work-life balance, for their skill set, for the level that they're at? Does it all work together the way that it should? And you can tell when your team comes in and they're not chipper, or they have low energy, or you hear an interaction with the way that they're talking to their fellow coworkers, or the way that when you walk by a table and you hear them talking to a guest, and maybe they're used to saying, I don't know, but I'll find out. And then you hear them just say, I don't know. Yeah, there's difference there. So really paying attention to the energy that they're bringing in, and if their performance is consistent or if it's starting to become inconsistent, and then immediately jumping in and having that conversation.
I have a sidebar question. So in our last episode, we talked a little bit about labor. And, in the industry, there are times where I just don't have someone else to bring in, So what ways do you advise that leaders who may be in that position, who feel like they have to work their team, down to the nubs, what do you advise that they do to kind of help bring some of that energy back?
The tricky part is everybody experiences this, right? It's no one has a fully staffed restaurant 100% of the time. And so what happens is the manager or the owner steps in, and they are in the hourly role. They are in the trenches with their team. They love it. It's fun. They feel like they're making an impact. Their team loves it. Everybody's having a really good time. It's not sustainable though. And that's again what leads to manager burnout and owner burnout. And it's important for, after that moment has happened, to take a step back as a leader and say, what is the root cause of this issue? Is this a hiring problem? Are we not hiring the right team? Are we allowing too many call-outs? Are we allowing too many requests off on the schedule? Or have we not set clear enough expectations for people about the responsibility that they have by being employed, by saying that they're being employed by us and they want a job with us? Or do they truly not understand the impact of their job and why it's so important that they show up consistently for us, for each other, for the guest? So there's a lot of different areas that you need to look at, because people that have great cultures, that have teams that are bought in, are not having problems with call outs and not seeing turnover. If I don't feel like what I'm doing matters, or I'm not connected to the core values, or I don't believe in the purpose, when something gets challenging, I'm 1 foot out the door. So again, it's all this ecosystem, right, of your people and your onboarding process. And again, making sure that people are really, really aligned with you.
Wow. It comes down to communication and transparency to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
So looking to the future, right? So looking ahead 3, 5 years, what leadership skills do you think are really going to matter most for operators who want to grow the right way, right? Everything that you're describing here, right way being grow sustainably, putting their people first, and still being profitable, which is also very important, right?
Especially right now.
Yes.
We can't rely on top line like we used to be able to. Looking forward to the future, it's the same thing that has always been true and will always be true. It's curious leaders. Getting curious about what's going really well in the business and curious about how they can continue to nurture that and develop that and keep that going, be consistent with that. Also curiosity around how do we continue to get better every single day. And that it means in every single aspect of the business, from the food quality to the preparation, to the presentation, to the guest experience, to how do I use AI to build systems and processes and use AI as a thinking partner, strategic thinking partner for myself so that I can get out of the office less and spend more time with my teams, coaching and developing, and spend more time connecting with the guests and building regulars, right? Competition is so fierce and it always will be. So AI is a wonderful tool for a lot of people to use to give themselves the time back that they want to be able to focus on their people. So I think it's curiosity of how do they take care of themselves better? How do they take care of their teams better? And how do they make the restaurant better every single day?
It really feels good to bring people like you on because, I mean, you're right on the front lines of this. I've read a stat recently that said 47% of hospitality professionals think it's just a part of the job. Burnout is just a part of it, right? And so I really think a lot of what you shared today can help not only the operator, but also the associate, the employee, just learn how to be a little bit better, a little bit more thoughtful, as you said, Melissa, as we work together. I think that's a big piece of it. Christin, thank you so much for bringing clarity and honesty to this conversation. Again, we can talk about this for hours, but maybe we'll put a pin in it right now, and maybe you should come back and speak with us again. I don't know.
I'd love to.
That would be amazing. I mean, what we talked about today and some of what you said really resonated with me. I mean, it was very impactful, and everything that you covered today, it really highlights that leadership in hospitality isn't about just pushing nonstop, right? It's about building framework or an organization that'll support the people and really just endure over time.
And with that said, we'll see you next time right here on Meet in the Lobby.
Thanks for meeting with us today. Interested in becoming a member of Avendra's procurement services? Scan the QR code on the screen or visit us at www.avendra.com to inquire. To learn more about Avendra International and the latest hospitality news and trends, follow us on LinkedIn at Avendra International. Meet in the Lobby is a production from Avendra International. Special thanks to our executive producers, Dorien Murphy, Melissa McCormack, Corey Moriarty, Eleanor Waddell, and Lindsay Garbachik, and our production partners, Market Scale. To learn more, click the link in the description.